So this is Agent Browser, and this tool is from Vercel Labs that makes browser automation actually make sense for AI agents. And I know what you are thinking. We already have tools for this, right? But trust me, this one is different. So let me start by saying I have been playing around with AI agents a lot lately. I am talking about tools like Claude Code, Cursor, all these things that are supposed to help us write code faster. And one thing that's always been kind of annoying is when you want these agents to actually interact with the web browser, like testing a feature you just built or scraping some data or filling out forms automatically. The traditional way involves using Playwright or Puppeteer, and honestly, it gets messy real fast when you are trying to get an AI to understand all these selectors and commands. Alright, so Agent Browser comes in and basically says, what if instead of dealing with complex DOM queries and CSS selectors and all that stuff, we just give every interactive element on a page a simple reference like the E1 or E2, and that's exactly what they did. Now before I dive into how it works, let me just mention this thing was built in Rust, which is wild because Rust gave you this insane performance boost. But here is a cool part. If you are on a system that does not support the Rust binary, it automatically falls back to Node.js version. So it just works everywhere. That's pretty thoughtful if you ask me. Okay, so how do you actually get started with this thing? It's a super straightforward. You just open your terminal and run npm install-g agent browser. The G flag makes it global so you can use it everywhere. Once that's done, you need to download Chromium because that's what Agent Browser uses under the hood. You just run Agent Browser install and you are good to go. If you are on Linux and you need some extra system dependencies, there is a flag for that too. But honestly, most people won't need to worry about it. Now let me show you the actual workflow because this is where it gets interesting. It's basically a 3-step process, and it's so simple that even if you have never done browser automation before, you will get it immediately. Step 1 is navigation. You use to open commands to go to whatever page you want. So let's say I want to go to Wikipedia. I would just run agent browser open and then the URL. Nothing fancy, just straightforward navigation. Step 2 is where the magic happens actually. You run the snapshot command with the -i flag. This flag tells it to only return interactive elements, which makes total sense because if you are automating something, you only care about the buttons and forms and the links, not the static text and images and all that stuff. When you run the snapshot command, it gives you back a list of all the interactive elements with the references. So you might get at E1 for a search box, at E2 for a submit button, at E3 for some drop-down menu, and so on. The best part is these references don't change unless the actual page content changes. So you are not dealing with selectors that breaks every time someone tweaks the CSS. Step 3 is interaction. Once you have these references from the snapshot, you can just use them directly in your commands. Want to click that search box? Run agent browser click at E1. Want to type something into it? Run agent browser fill at E1 and then your search query. It's honestly that simple. Let me walk you through a real example to make this more concrete. Say I am building a test automation script for a login page. I would start by opening the page with the open command. Then I would take a snapshot with the -i flag to see all the interactive elements. Let's say the snapshot tells me that at E1 is the email input field, at E2 is the password, and at E3 is the login button. Now I can just run agent browser fill at E1 with my testing email, then agent browser fill at E2 with my test password, and finally agent browser click at E3 to submit the form. And that's it. No messing around with the complicated selectors or worrying about timing issues or any of that nonsense. Alright, so beyond the basic workflow, Agent Browser has a bunch of other useful commands. You have got navigation command like back, forward, reload and close for controlling the browser itself. You have got interaction commands like double click, hover, check for checkboxes, select for drop downs, scroll, drag for drag and drop operations, and even upload for file uploads. That's pretty comprehensive. There is also commands for extracting information from the pages. You can use get text with the selector to grab the text content of any element. There is get HTML if you need the raw HTML, get value for input fields, and get URL or get titles for basic page info. And if you need to check the state of an element, there is a command like is visible, is enabled, and is checked. This is super useful when you are writing conditional logic in your automation scripts. One thing I really appreciate is the screenshot functionality. You can just run the screenshot command to capture what's currently visible in the viewport. Or if you need a full page screenshot, you add the -- full flag. There is even a PDF export option if you need documentation or reports. Now here is something that I think sets Agent Browser apart from other tools. It supports what they call semantic locator. Instead of using those elements references like at E1, you can actually describe what you are looking for in more human terms. So you might run Agent Browser, find role button, click with the -- name flag set to submit. This finds and clicks a button with the name submit. Or you could do final label, email fill, and then the email address. And it will find the input field with that label and fill it in. This makes your script way more readable and honestly more maintainable too. Plus, it's more resilient when the UI changes slightly. Let me talk about sessions for a second because this is actually really powerful. Agent Browser supports running multiple isolated browser instances at the same time. You just use the -- session flag with the name. Each session gets its own cookies, its own storage, its own browsing history, completely isolated. So you could have one session where you are logged in as a user A, another session where you are logged in as a user B, and they can both run in parallel without interfering with each other. This is perfect for testing multi-user session scenarios or doing parallel data collections. There is also some advanced features like request interception and network mocking. You can simulate different network conditions or mock AP responses for testing. And if you need to debug something, just add the -- headed flag and it will show you the actual browser window instead of running headless. Super helpful when things are not working the way you expect. Alright, so now let me talk about the AI integration part because this is really where Agent Browser shines. If you are using AI coding tools like Claude Code or other similar tools, you can set up what's called a skill file. This basically gives the AI complete context on how to use Agent Browser. Instead of AI having to figure out the commands on its own or you having to explain it every single time, the skill file contains all the commands, best practices, and workflow optimized specifically for language models. Setting this up is pretty straightforward too. After you install Agent Browser globally, you can copy the skills folder from the packages into your AI tools skills directory. You can find where the global packages are installed by running npm root-g, or you can download the skills directly from the GitHub repo using curl. Once it's in your place, your AI agent automatically knows how to use Agent Browser. You can just tell it to navigate to a page or fill out a form or take a screenshot, and it will know exactly what commands to run. Now I want to talk about some of the technical details because I think they are super important. Agent Browser is built with the Rust CLI that communicates with the Node.js daemon. The Rust part handles parsing the commands and converting them to JSON. The reason they went with Rust here is performance. Rust is really fast and efficient, and the binary stays running after it spawns, so there is minimal setup overhead. This JSON then gets sent through a Unix socket to the Node daemon, which manages the actual Chromium browser instances. The daemon validates everything, launch the browser, which runs headless by default, and execute the action using playwright under the hood. Once the action completes, it sends the output back in JSON format to the CLI, and from there your AI agent can decide what to do next. So who should use Agent Browser? I would say if you are building any kind of AI agent that need to interact with web pages, this is worth checking out. It's way easier than trying to integrate Playwright or Puppeteer. I think Agent Browser is also great for developers who want to quickly prototype browser automation workflows. Even if you are not using AI, the simple command interface makes it very easy to script together complex browser interactions. I would recommend starting with some simple examples like navigating to a page and taking a screenshot just to get the feel for how reference system works. Then try some basic interactions like filling form or clicking buttons. Once you are comfortable with that, you can start integrating it with your AI coding tools using the skills file. Alright, so that's it from the video, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.